Hi, this is Ms. Vanoy, and I'm going to talk to you today about the ToSEEC strategy and how to use that strategy when we are answering short answers or ERQs, extended response questions. I'm going to use an example from sixth grade. So if you are currently in sixth grade, this will seem very familiar, and you'll be able to draw from maybe some evidence and background knowledge immediately. If you were here in sixth grade, if you're a seventh or eighth grader, this is something you should probably remember that you did in sixth grade with Miss Rodis or your other sixth grade teacher. I'm going to explain how it's like Legos, like building blocks. This is a structure to help us be able to completely answer a question, because our purpose when we do a ToSEEC is to completely answer the question, the prompt. Now, I wanted to look at this because I feel like this is a good intro to exactly what each part of the ToSEEC is. And I want you to think about what the ToSEEC, what the TOS stands for, and what does it really mean? We all know that TOS stands for topic sentence, but what really is a topic sentence? So I did the exercise myself, and I thought about it like putting it in my own words, and it helped me really understand it a little bit better too. So I thought about topic sentence. It's where you state your answer to the question. Basically, when you're doing an ERQ or a short answer, you got to answer the question. So that is where you have that answer. Sometimes we used to do this thing called a race, which was like restate and answer. That's what the topic sentence is here. Then you need to find evidence. Find evidence from whatever it is. In this case, it's going to be the novel. Find evidence from the novel that supports your answer. And then you're going to have to elaborate. And elaboration means that you're going to put it in your own words. You're going to connect it to your original answer and show how that supports it. And then the concluding statement is just a way to wrap up your answer to really show your audience that you know what you're talking about. So here's the practice short answer that I'm going to go over with you. And it's, what is Bud's main hardship in chapter 2? Explain with evidence from the story. So I know from this question right away, it tells me what the question is because I see the question mark right there. But I also know I've got to find evidence from the story. I'm going to go back to the novel. I'm going to open it back up. No matter how good of a reader I am, I'm going to need to go back to at least chapter 2 because that's where it said that we can find our evidence. And I'm going to break down exactly how to answer it and write my topic sentence. So I'm going to think to myself, I know this is about Bud. I know this is about hardship. That's the question. The topic is Bud and hardship. What about it though? Like, that's the central idea for my topic sentence to answer it. What did I learn? What was the hardest thing for him about his hardships? And if the hard thing was for him was to protect himself. So I put these mental models up here to kind of see, in case that's something that helps you to think of it as topic, central idea, and then topic sentence. This is a way to break down that very first sentence that we answer when we're doing a ToSEEC for short answers or ERQs. Now, here is an example of electronic ToSEEC graphic organizer. I've shown you before, and you can go back and look at those videos of how I do it. If I'm in person, I can fold up a piece of paper. I do the hamburger hot dog fold, and I put the marks in the between, or only on the the second and third fold. But if not, I use this electronic graphic organizer where the beginning is I answer it with the topic sentence. Bud's main hardship in chapter 2 of Bud Not Buddy is protecting himself. So I've answered the question. What I need to do now is the text evidence part. How am I going to support that protecting himself was the hardest thing he had to do? Now you'll notice I have numbers with parentheses around them, and then they're color-coded red. That's the citation, which means it's an in-text citation. When we talked about ICE on another video or another day that we've talked about it, that is, you've got to be able to cite that evidence, and you need to be able to tell where it came from. So we know from this in-text citation that this evidence came from, particularly from page 13. So I'm going to find the evidence that shows two pieces of evidence, and then I'm going to explain those two pieces of evidence. I want you to remember that when you take notes from a graphic organizer like this, like the ToSEEC one, those are notes for the most part. So you need to make sure that when you have those jotted down notes from your graphic organizer, your pre-write, you put them into the full thought sentences after that. And here's some sentence starters for evidence. Kind of like, again, you got to introduce where you got it from. On page blank, it said blank. The author wrote blank. These are all really great sentence starters to put in a writer's toolbox to kind of pull out and think, I can at least always remember according to the text, or on page blank it said, or it was written. one of these kind of text starters I want you to have memorized so that you know to always pull from that to find evidence from a story. And then if you need a sentence starter for elaboration, I always think about this means, this shows, this proves, this is because. All of those sentence starters will get your mind geared towards answering, elaborating on what the evidence actually means. Now, here it is color coded. The topic statement is in green. I always think about how the evidence and elaboration, if you mix it together, it makes green. So it's like you need that evidence and elaboration to mix together and support that green topic statement. Notice I have the topic statement and then the ToSEEC have evidence elaboration, evidence elaboration. Now remember, you've got to look at the individual question that you're given. If it asks you for 3 pieces of evidence or a specific number of evidence, you want to make sure that you do that. So there may be a chance that instead of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sentences, you might have 8, or you might have 9. You'd add on an extra evidence and an extra elaboration. But this is how it would look color-coded. Here's another way I've color-coded it to remember. Topic sentence goes first. I know this because, and then I quote from the evidence, the text evidence. And then again, I start out by saying, however, the text also states. I have that text intro, and I tell another piece of evidence that supports the idea that it's hard for him to protect himself. And then on orange, I put, I restate it by saying Bud protects himself by being both brave and smart. Now, this is just a short little review of what ToSEEC is, and hopefully it's on something that maybe you all remember, or even if you haven't read the book and you weren't here in 6th grade, maybe you can at least follow along with the way I found the evidence and the page numbers, and you can see what I was talking about as far as supporting that topic sentence of why was that hardship so important, hard for him, which was protecting himself. He had a hard time protecting himself. Do not get overwhelmed with short answers and ERQs. Remember that you can always break it down into steps. If you're visual, I always think it's good to think about those color-coded. Just constantly use that and constantly reinforce that, and you'll see that a lot with me in my classroom. And to see those pictures, if it helps you to even think about the topic sentence, you've got to figure out topic, central idea, and then be able to find the reasons to support it. Those mental models really come in handy. I hope that this helped, and I'll be back another time with more writing tips. Bye.